Hi, my name is Soldicola and I've been doing digital art since 2020, but never even dared to join any monthly long art challenge prior. And I wanted to change that, and I decided to do my own type of Inktober challenge where I made it very simple for myself. I just had to draw anything for every day in 31 days. That's it. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, that doesn't sound so bad. But trust me, with how self-destructive I am to myself, it was pretty bad. I gave myself some rules. You need some rules, you know? Just a little tiny rule. Or maybe we can call them guidelines, because I didn't follow them all the time. The drawings had to be part of the Halloween theme. That was the rule. Simple, right? Wrong. It was difficult. And without wasting your time further, let's just go through the entries, shall we? So for day 1, I decided to draw a self-insert. I started recording the speed paint once I had the idea of the pose. Trust me, it will not look anything similar to that thing. So for half a minute, I tried to use the symmetry ruler to help me out, but it didn't help much. And looking back at it, it reminded me of an art teacher I used to have that was obsessed with using the symmetry ruler for her drawings. Her life was depending on her using the symmetry ruler for her drawings. It was crazy, and she was our art teacher. Like, what? You can also see I tried using a 3D model for a few seconds. Immediate regret on that one, I guess. She's still getting commissioned too, and when I see her characters, I feel chills, cause like their eyes have like no soul. So yeah, safe to say I don't use the symmetry ruler ever again for characters. Going back to the drawing, it seems like I wasn't even sure if I wanted to make myself a twink or a muscular person. I realized I should probably tell you folks what the idea was for this drawing. So the idea for the drawing was to make a cartoonish version of myself being sick, since, well, lucky me was sick the first day of this challenge. And I will use that as an excuse for why I am struggling so hard to get the sketch right, cause holy frick, I am struggling. At this point, I had taken a picture of myself and used that as a reference to get the pose right. You can tell by the fact the hand doesn't look too bad, because I cannot draw hands without any reference. I always struggle with the hair. Like you can see, I go back and forth on the hair and the face and everything, because like it's so difficult to get the hair right. I usually go for that wavy hair, as you see, because wavy hair just feels right. It just feels odd not doing wavy hair. So this is not my usual art style. I did replicate by memory my old art style from back in 2021, 2022, where I drew a lot more darker drawings. I posted on Instagram and always added a slideshow on there, where it was a sad character, and on slide 2 it was blood added to it. I was doing great. Nothing was wrong with me. Why would you think otherwise, huh? No, but like, I remember being very happy with my current style. It was back then I started drawing more monsters too, and was focusing more on the feelings I had instead of all this stuff I'm doing nowadays. I posted stuff because I wanted to. I didn't worry about my future in drawing, now that ChatGPT is digging its way everywhere. Like, back then it felt like the worst thing that could happen to an artist on Instagram or something was like someone reposted your art or traced it, and that's still a problem. But it's nothing like the AI thing that is happening now, and I just feel like I've lost that sense of a community as well, and have been thinking about trying to fix that. But like, I don't want to have those moods thing, because like it feels so fake a lot of times, because when you have moods, then they don't really care about your art. It feels fake, and I just want to follow someone that I like their art, or I like their personality or something like that, and if they want to follow me back because they like me for me, and not just because they feel a sense of guilt or something. It just feels so fake, and that's kind of the thing that has made me lose that sense of a community the most, because I don't know where to look anymore since I'm done with Instagram and don't have contact with my previous friends. So yeah. Anyways, the background was a struggle. I tried doing something cool with using the tool Lines and Tones from Clip Studio, but it didn't work as intended. And so, for my own sanity, I added a texture background. And looking back, I don't think it was a good call. I think having a dark blue background would maybe work better. What do you think? And at the end here, question for you all. Does he look sick or does he look depressed? Maybe it's both. Over to day 2. This drawing was part of a school project I did a few weeks before this challenge, and it was actually what got me inspired to try this art challenge. The project was about sketching out an idea and then develop it further digitally, and so since I'm a caffeine slut, I decided to combine Monster Energy drink with pumpkin spice. I swear I'm not secretly a pumpkin monster behind this mic. So I used the other Coffee Monster can designs as inspiration. The OG cans are too simple for the idea I had, while the more exotic ones have more details and more artistic looking in my opinion. I've collected a few of those Coffee X Monster cans. They are unopened because I ain't gonna have that kind of caffeine overdose. No thank you. I will get a heart attack. So yeah, I decided to make two versions, one that is sugar-free and one with sugar. The one with sugar would be the one with the glow in the pumpkin eyes, since it's charged with sugar or something. I don't remember what the reasoning was for it. But looking back on the design, it's probably not something I could imagine they would actually make. They would maybe go for a more basic design, maybe a bit more like calmer tones on the colors, but I had a ton of fun making this, and that is the important part. And since this drawing was done a few weeks prior to this challenge, I planned it as part of like an buffer, the one and only buffer, and it's day 2 and I've already done the buffer, so it's looking really bright for the future of this art challenge. Yeah. Oh my god. So for day 3 I decided to draw Two-Face, but he switched half his outfit to summer clothes, cause this is a hot summer day in Gotham. I have always been a big fan of Two-Face. I used to draw him the most out of every Batman villain, including Joker, when I was younger. I just really liked the concept and conflict of his character. It's kind of understandable why he does what he does, in a way, especially now that I'm getting older, realizing that many bends the law and are corrupt. It's hard to think that doing things by the book will get any results. When I was a kid, I didn't think that deep of him and was very disappointed when I watched the Dark Knight movie and got so little action with Harvey Dent's transformation into Two-Face. Now getting older, I can really appreciate the time the movie takes to showcase his transformation slowly. Even as a kid, I thought the Dark Knight movie did a way better job with the Two-Face than the Batman Forever movie did, with Tommy Lee Jones playing Two-Face in that movie, and he was just copying Jack Nicholson's Joker from the '89 movie, and it was just such a disappointing thing. Like, at least Jim Carrey did a decent job, even though his portrayal of the Riddler wasn't very accurate either. I could talk about this for like hours on end. If you've noticed, in the beginning I drew the more classical version of Two-Face with the weird hair, but ended up changing it since prior to this drawing I rewatched the '89 Batman movie, where you have Michael Keaton as Batman, Jack Nicholson's Joker, which is one of the best portrayal of Joker in my opinion. You also had another character that was very minor, and probably a lot of you don't even remember him. It was Billy D. Williams that played Harvey Dent. If you don't know who he is, he played Lando Calrissian in Star Wars. He never got his transformation into Two-Face. He was just Harvey Dent until Billy returned to voice Two-Face in the Lego Batman movie, which was a neat little surprise and unexpected. And since he was part of the Lego Batman movie, he also got a few sets where you could get the figure. And well, I didn't buy any sets back then, but I bought the Lego figure recently and used that and pictures from the 89 movie and used both of those as a frame of reference to get the most detailed drawing possible. And I think it turned out pretty good. I felt like a kid again drawing this entry, and I feel it's translated very well into the drawing, having so much details added in. And I think the color choices was good as well. The only problem I have is the arm holding the gun. I looked at it before posting it that day and was like, I should have taken a reference pic of myself in that pose. But it's not that bad, I think. The legs too, I didn't prioritize them at all. They were just added there, so we just don't think too much about that. But all the other things is really well done, I think. The line art could have been smoother, of course, but that's just preference, I guess. I had to draw every day and post it and make a short video where I talk about it on the same day. I couldn't expect too much of myself to break the purpose of this challenge where I was gonna post and draw and avoid all this nitpicking and just accepting that this is what I could draw. And like, it's kind of humbling, I guess. And getting down to earth, just trying to figure out what kind of art style could help me be faster and avoid taking too long and procrastinating, because I'm even now after the fact still procrastinating. And so this challenge was a failure in a way, I guess. I'm still kind of lost, and yeah, I don't know. Going back to the drawing, I now tried adding a background to just push myself further. I was a bit of a dum-dum and thought little me could do a city background with perspective in 30 minutes. I just really hate myself, don't I? Like, what? I managed to realize how dumb of an idea that was for a daily art challenge, so I went for a far simpler background. Yet, I felt like I added many details to it still. This drawing was fun, but it had the problem of being very detailed and put more pressure on me later down the line. What do you think about the drawing? If you ask me, he looks like he's about to have a heat stroke. For day 4, I decided to do a more relaxing drawing. I based it off an image I found on Pinterest and added my own character to it. The idea was to either draw a vampire or a ghoul, so I decided to draw a vampire since I felt like it would be more fun for this. The backstory I gave him was that he got turned by a vampire that killed his family after getting bitten. He fell asleep, and so the culprit vanished by the time he got his conscience back. It took some time before he found his footing as a vampire. He then joins a vampire band and tries to adapt to this new life. When he is at stage, he feels like everything else pauses and he feels like he's in heaven. He is still looking for a culprit, and once he finds them, he's gonna make them pay for what they did. I made all this lore up while drawing this entry, and so he isn't part of any story I've planned for now. He's just existing. Sometimes it's just good to have someone who just exists. And so yeah, this was a really laid back drawing, and I just had a ton of fun just experimenting a lot. I struggled a lot with the bass. I don't remember if that's the correct way of spelling it. I think it's bass. Like I had to combine parts of the bass from the actual picture, but it cuts off. So I had just implemented another picture and use that as reference for how it looks. So it's kind of just a combination of two different bass guitars. And yeah, I just did some things with this. I tried making the strings make sense, but I don't think they really do. As you can see now, the colors I did and the background, I just drew it as like blurred, and I think it really worked well, and it was easy and quick, and it's just fun when everything just feels like the pieces are fitting so well, and it's all just supporting this idea you had, and everything just comes together so nicely. It's so nice to finally have something that I feel like I'm still looking back happy about. Is there some things I could have fixed? Of course there is, but like, this wasn't a bad entry. I think this is probably my best work when it comes to like just coloring and feeling like and actually fitting into the purpose of this challenge, if you will. So yeah, comment what you think about it, and over to next entry. So this is the last speed paint for this video. I will make a part 2 because I gotta milk this for all I can, you know? So for day 5, I did something I have never done in all my years of drawing digitally, and that is, drumroll please, drawing two guys interact with each other. Yeah. And I drew a BL comic a year ago. Actually, I did that already back in 2021. Have I managed to avoid this in 5 freaking years? How's that even possible? So yeah, I finally bite the bullet and drew two guys interacting, and not in a friendly way. No. They're gay lovers. Anyways, I used 3D models from Clip Studio's assets for this. I'm usually very reluctant to use 3D models, since I feel like constantly hear people yap about how it's always looking bad and stuff, like maybe I'm just misunderstanding, or some expect every artist to be super amazing in anatomy and figure out poses on the fly. I don't know, but 3D models can be really helpful, especially for poses. I will use it to my advantage when I draw my comic later on, because it will really speed up my flow. Like, of course you shouldn't have to rely on it all the time, but like, I feel like abusing the tools that aren't generative AI is needed to stay afloat in this environment, you know? The 3D models is part of Clip Studio. It's made to help, and even manga artists use tools like this all the time, so why shouldn't I? Why am I being so hard to myself? Yeah, this is kind of figuring out the flow and realizing that using 3D models like this shouldn't be something I'm scared of, and maybe it will help me feel less pressure when I'm drawing, so I actually have fun drawing, because that's also a thing. I feel like sometimes I lose that motivation, because like, oh, it's so much energy, but maybe this will help. It really helped a lot with these 3D models to just figure out everything and make this very new thing feel doable. And it kind of was too. I feel like I did a really good job with this. Looking at the speed paint now, I get reminded how much I struggled on the face. The face looked so ugly for so long, and it was pain and misery. The liner part is usually the fun part, but it is when the face is figured out during the sketch, which it wasn't during this drawing. So it was just such a struggle. And then I get stuck on the hair, because like, I never seem to be happy with how I draw the hair. The hair is a constant battle as well, even more so than the face. It's just hard figuring it out, and I just like to add those crazy turns, and sometimes they're just such a mess. The other character in the background that is kind of Nightwing-ish, he was easier to do. In a way, he was just somebody. He's not part of any universe like the main character you see in the front, whose name I gave afterwards, Alex. and became the main character for my Monster Hunter universe that I'm gonna talk further about in part 2. I also got reminded that some people commented on my TikTok video posting about this, and they thought that this was Joker and Nightwing, and I was taking part of a weird fetish thing, I guess, and that I also changed Dick Grayson's race, that I race swapped Nightwing in a way. It's just such a TikTok comment to get, but like kind of annoying when I'm talking about them as somebody else and saying it's a cosplay or saying it's like a Halloween costume they're wearing. And I feel like for me it's very clear they're not supposed to be Nightwing or Joker. As someone who's really big fans of them, I even used Nightwing as a reference. So like I purposefully avoided drawing him similar so they wouldn't misunderstand him or misinterpret this thing. This was a really fun drawing and I think I did a really good job. I was very proud of myself, and as I should, because this was very detailed, very fun, but the problem is I expected more for myself in the next entries, and it's getting crazier. It's kind of just how I work, I guess. I can never give myself a break and just accepting that let me just keep it at this pace. Nah, we're gonna go even crazier. You can follow me through this crazy adventure, or you can just watch my TikTok shorts. I also have the shorts on YouTube where I talk very brief about what it was, and I recorded it the same day I drew it. This was a fun drawing to do, and I will definitely use a lot of the things I learned from this to improve myself.